Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. Today we have with us April. April, introduce yourself.
Sure. My name's April Huard. I'm the Director of Education at Clonlara School in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've been in education my whole career. I taught at a public school. I homeschooled my kids. Now I work at this private school, but that also supports homeschoolers. So that's really fun. I have 5 kids of my own that I homeschooled all of them at various times, during their education. My oldest is, married and has a baby now, but my youngest is in 7th grade, so I still have a couple kids at home. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Oh, nice. Is the married one? Is she talking about homeschooling? Was
Well,
she
the baby's 5 months old, so I don't
oh,
think they've had
a little
a
early?
chance to really talk about it yet. Yes, we'll see.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So what caused you to homeschool? We're going to talk about Clonlara.
Yep.
Clonlara.
Clonlara. Yep.
Yes. But what's caused you to homeschool?
Well, my husband and I were both educators. We both got teaching degrees. We're teaching at a public school system. Started having our own children. And when my oldest was 5, so ready for kindergarten, I had 3 kids by then. And I was thinking, maybe I'll just take a year of parenting leave because this is getting kind of crazy for me to try to take care of 3 kids, get to work on time, all that. And then I was like, well, my oldest, I've worked as a teacher since she was born. So maybe I'll just keep her home with me too. And we'll just try homeschooling for 1 year. And, it's just kindergarten, can't be that hard. And then I'll go back to work and she'll go to school and, it'll all be fine. And long story short, I did that year of homeschooling and I never looked back. I never went back to public school. My husband still works in the public school system, but we balanced that, through his whole career where we kept the kids home and mostly homeschooled them. They also went to school at various times, depending on what they needed and where they were in their lives, but a lot of their education was spent homeschooling. Yes.
Oh, nice. And you have 5, good
Yes.
age gap apparently. How
Yes.
was that? How did you flow into that? How was your days like? What were your days like?
Yeah, it was always interesting. I had been a classroom teacher, so I think I came at homeschooling with that mindset, where now if I were to do it again, I probably would have had a different mindset there. But we did subjects and split things up. But because my first 4 were very close in age, all 2 years apart, we combined a lot of things like history. We would just read books for history, and sitting and reading aloud after lunch was our favorite time of the day. So a lot of those things were combined. And then I'd have one of the older ones watch the baby while I did reading with another student. So it was really more of a lifestyle for us than anything. We just tried to learn all the time, always having conversations, and so it was a really fun time. I have good memories of those years.
Nice. Do you feel like your education background made it a little tougher to transition to the homeschool world, or did it make it easier?
Well, you know it might be both. It might be easier and harder. I think because I was trained in a teacher program, at a college, I sort of had this mindset of like classroom management and school routines and things that it was hard for me to see outside of. Now that I work at Clonlara, where I get to see all kinds of ways of homeschooling, it really opened my eyes when I came here. It's like, oh, you could also do homeschooling that way. Oh, you could also do homeschooling that way. And so that really broadened my horizons. And I was much more flexible with my kids as they got older and, help them follow their interests. But at first, and that's common, I think, for any homeschooler who's starting out, you might buy a curriculum because you're not sure. And so you just want to follow, like, and make sure you hit all the boxes and, do everything you're supposed to. And then the more comfortable you become, the more flexible and the more freedom you feel in homeschooling.
Nice. Yes. Cause I feel like it's the catch 22. That's the
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. Also, a lot of people feel like that degree is needed for you to educate your child. And it's like, yeah, no,
No,
I don't think that that's the requirement.
right. I agree.
God's not checking off. Does she have a degree before she
Yeah.
get pregnant? Like, so
Right.
yes, but okay, talk about Clonlara. Like what do you all offer? How does that fit into the homeschool world?
hmm So the funny thing is, in 2016, we moved to Michigan from Ohio. I was homeschooling my kids and, pretty much staying home with them still. In 2017, I saw a Facebook ad for this school that I had never heard of before. And they were looking for someone with experience in the public school system or traditional education and also homeschooling experience. And I thought, well, that's strange because I've never heard of a place that wants that kind of combined experience. And I thought, maybe I'm supposed to work there. So I applied for the job. And, here I am. And it is just a really fun mix of different kinds of approaches to education. So we have a campus. I'm at our campus right now in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's a K-12 campus. But we also have an off-campus program. And that just means that kids who are homeschooling, so families, or if you're in a small learning center, a micro school, some other kind of hybrid program maybe, can enroll with us. And we provide academic advisors and support along the way. As we help families, we work one-on-one with families. We help them make a plan for the year. We let them choose their own curriculum, but we kind of guide them through that process. So we don't have a curriculum of our own. We suggest things and, get to know the family on Zoom calls and, what does your kid want to do? And how do they like to learn? And then we say, well, maybe you'd like to try this way of approaching that topic or this way of learning. And so we really walk with the family, through their journey with whatever kind of support they might need. We're accredited, so families get transcripts and diplomas. We help with the college application process and, all of that throughout the process. And so it's personalized learning. We really want kids to follow their own, which is why we don't have curriculum. We want kids to identify their interests and really learn to follow those interests and create an education plan that's really appropriate for them. And we also want to connect kids around the world. So our off-campus program has about 2,300 students in 70 different countries.
Oh,
We
wow.
offer our program, our services, our advising services in 6 different languages. So we have staff living all over the world who support kids in Spanish and French and German and Portuguese and Hungarian. And then we try to connect them. So we have all kinds of clubs and ways for kids to connect with each other and, meet on Zoom regularly. We even have a camp that meets in person, every other year in Portugal. So another part of what we love to do is connect our global community together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing.
Yeah, it's a very fun place to work. And like I said, when I came here as an academic advisor, I was, I had the homeschooling background, so I was helping homeschoolers think about what they want to do in the year, how are they going to meet the graduation requirements, those kinds of things. But I think probably my first year here, I had, kids from maybe like 10 to 15 different countries. And it really like opened my eyes to, oh, this is what unschooling can look like, or this is what, a really traditional schooling can look like and how it can serve a student, or this is what it looks like when kids really can, follow their interests, change their minds, make pivots during the school year, or really have goals for after high school and, work hard to get to those goals, whatever they are. So it was a really important year for me, I think, just to see how education can look for students. And really when students find this kind of personalized learning, this meaningful learning, how it can really change their lives. Yeah.
Yes.
Powerful.
So with it being personalized, are they grouped by interest or how are the classes set up?
So we don't give classes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's really like, well, we can talk about the campus because we do have classes on our campus, but for the like homeschooling families or families who are at home, we really help them just think, okay, your student wants to, write a novel. Okay, we can get English credit for that. Here's how we can make sure that that's high school level and we can, set goals and work toward these goals. And we don't check the work. We don't teach. We let the parents do that or, whoever
Okay.
the tutor, whoever's doing that. But we just support and give advice and feedback. We check the documentation process that we have in place to make sure, things are progressing. And it's really just a support role.
Okay. Okay. I'm following.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sounds like you do kind of create curriculum for families.
Well, we help them sort through. I mean, as you know, there's like 1,000 things you can use as a homeschooling family. And sometimes kids come with, really interesting ideas, like, how am I going to learn this? And so what we do as advisors here is help them sort through all of those things. And, we work with hundreds and thousands of families. And so we have a list of things that people like to use that, might work for you, but we can also, help you think about what might make sense for you. So for example, my first year, I think here, I had a new student and I got on the call with him the first time to meet him. He was in Europe and a ninth grader. And he told me that his main interest was like metallurgy. He loved to forge metal and he was making like handcrafting these like knives and things like that. And I was like, oh, wow, I
Okay.
don't know anything about this,
Right. That's
but
teach me.
yeah, you do learn a lot from your students. And so we talked about the importance of having a mentor for this kind of an interest. And, he had felt like he had pretty much used YouTube as much as he could. And so we talked about how to go out and try to find a mentor and, just really to follow this interest. And at Clonlara, we give credit for whatever the student's learning. So that's a valid, credit-worthy course, what he was working on. He graduated recently, and for his capstone project, which is like a final project our seniors do, he made like a medieval, a replica of like this medieval sword using this really advanced, I don't know, process with metals. I don't know all about it, but it was just really fun to see him coming at ninth grade and saying, I really like this. And then, really developing that over the course of high school and coming out with this, project. And so our advisors aren't experts on everything, but they can help a student think like, okay, now the next step here might be doing this, or it might be studying this topic, or looking at, this series of videos or this course that might really help you reach your goals. And so that's how they partner with families to really help them think about what's possible and how can I approach it.
Okay, nice. So it sounds like you all kind of align the students' interests with the standards that are needed for whatever grade or
Right.
subject they're learning.
Yeah. So for example, we have in high school, we have graduation requirements that are pretty typical. You need to do 4 years of English and 3 years of science and, so on. But within that structure that we have for kids, we really want them to think about, what makes sense for me. If I really love writing, like I said, you can write a novel and get credit for English, for writing a novel. Or, you really want to be a journalist, like let's do that. And so whatever you're doing, we want it to be really meaningful to you because it's an area that you're interested in, or it will serve a goal that you have for the future. So, science, some kids never want to do physics at all. They just want to they're into horses and they want to do equine biology. That's fine. Let's set up a course where you can do that and set your goals and get credit for it. And then you can kind of match your interest to what you're doing in your academic work.
Okay, nice. So your all's focus is specifically homeschool families.
We don't just work with homeschool families. Like I said, sometimes we work with like micro schools. So there might
Okay.
be a tutor or somebody, who's working with a group of families. We also have affiliate schools. So these are schools around the world who maybe aren't accredited by their Ministry of Education, or it's just like a learning center. And they partner with us. They're their own school, but they partner with us to use Clonlara's methods and pedagogy. And then their students graduate with our documents. So it's kind of a partnership between the two. And we have several of those schools around the world. So we have one in Thailand and Bangkok, 2 in Portugal, 1 in the Bahamas, 1 in Japan. So we, people who are aligned with our core values, which are, personalization, letting kids have autonomy and agency in their education and, follow their interests, then we might set up like a formal partnership with them. But the vast majority of our off-campus students are, at home with their parents or in a similar like small situation like that.
Okay, nice. So that's mainly like the online virtual aspect.
Yeah.
So the campus, how's the campus set up? Because that's just in Michigan.
We have
Y'all just
campus
have
right now in
one?
Michigan. We're in the middle of opening one in Portugal, but right now
Okay.
the Ann Arbor campus is our only campus. So it's a K-12 program. We closed 1 year over COVID, what we do doesn't translate very well into like, Zoom calls and things like that. And so we closed, we kind of rethought about what families want and need now that the pandemic is behind us. And we reopened 2 years ago last year as a hybrid program. So we have a 3-day program, and we also have a 5-day program that families can choose. So a lot of our students are coming 3 days a week and then homeschooling Monday and Friday at home or doing some other kind of thing. It really lets families sort of, truly unbundle their education and, see what they want to pick and choose from. Some of our families do come 5 days a week, and so we offer that as well. It's multi-age classrooms. So we have K2 together, 3, 5, 6, 8, and then 9 through 12. It's personalized learning as well. So there's a little more structure because we have teachers here and they're doing projects. We have a model called Full Circle Learning that we follow with all of our students, no matter what program they're in. It helps them think about what they want to study and then the steps, to sort of achieve their goals and also reflect on their learning. And so the teachers are guiding kids through this with either group projects. So right now, like we're in the path of the total solar eclipse that's happening on April 8th. So they're doing, like the whole school is doing a project on the solar eclipse. And each classroom is sort of has a different focus depending on what the kids said they were most interested in. So again, it's very student led, even if it's in a group. And then they also can do independent projects. So if a student is interested in a topic, there's time during the day to create a self-designed project using our full circle learning model and get the support they need to sort of study their own interests too. So it's a mixture of the group and the individual projects.
Nice. It sounds like y'all are what parents are looking for as far as like, we want to homeschool, but I don't feel like I have everything I need to do so. So it's like they can seek you all and get.
Yeah, the best of both worlds, really. Yeah, I think after the pandemic, parents realized that, they kind of liked a little bit more freedom maybe with their students. So did their kids really need to be in school, all week, 5 days a week? Or if they were homeschooling, they might, I felt like this sometimes when I was homeschooling mine, like I want them to go somewhere like a couple days a week to be with friends and to get a different perspective. I love being together with my kids, but it'd be nice to be apart some too. So I feel like this really meets a need for people who maybe still love homeschooling, but don't want to do it full time or, just need a different model for their family.
Nice, nice. So it kind of has like I guess like a co-op feel.
It kind of like a co-op, except we do, it's a drop-off program. We do have teachers.
Oh, you do drop off.
Full-time
Okay.
teachers. Yep. The parents don't have any responsibility to teach or anything like that.
Okay.
So we hire
Okay.
teachers, and so it's a full program. I didn't mention that it's also kind of a shorter day. We go from 9 to 2 with our K-8 kids, and then from 2 to 5, we have an enrichment program where we bring in, like we have ceramics and some martial arts and different theater, things like that kids can stay for. So if they're here from, the 9 to 2 program, they can also add on an hour or 2 or 3 hours, depending on what mom and dad need, for their schedule. And then we can also invite in other homeschoolers in the community who aren't enrolled in our daytime program to come and join us. So it makes it's nice because it makes our community, bigger and more diverse too. Like getting more families in and out has been really nice. So that's worked well. Yeah.
Nice, nice. When you were homeschooling, did you have I know you said that, I feel like you said you had like a program that you dropped off like 2 days out the week.
Well, I actually lived in a small town in Ohio, so pretty rural town. So there weren't a lot of, there was the public school system and there was like one Catholic school, and that was like it for schools. So I started a homeschool co-op actually when I was and I had to start it. A lot of work. It seemed like, oh, this is easy. We all homeschool. We'll just come and help each other. But, those things grow and create like all sorts of questions and issues. It was really fun. But yes, I did that because I wanted that for my kids. It wasn't a drop-off program. It was a true co-op where parents had to stay and, teach different things. But but I really enjoy that. And my kids really loved that opportunity to get together with other kids and, take classes and be accountable to someone else sometimes. So that was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
The community is important. That's a very important aspect with the homeschool world.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So I love what you all are doing. So okay. Still look, digging deeper, digging deeper. All right. So as far as the campus goes, the kids come 9 to 2 or 9 to 5, apparently.
Yeah, depending.
And so they're in the classroom. Are these classrooms, what sizes are these classrooms?
Oh, I wish you could see them. They're huge classrooms. Our founder, Pat Montgomery, founded this school in Ann Arbor in 1967. She was looking for a school for her own 2 kids and didn't find what she wanted. And so I don't know if you're familiar with Summerhill School in England. It's a truly democratic school. It was kind of like a groundbreaking democratic boarding school. It's still there. So she went there, talked to the guy who was there, and he said, go back and build, whatever school is inside of you. Okay. So she came back and she started Clonlara, and it really started just with her family. And the school wasn't built. So the building that we're in right now wasn't built until the 90s, but she helped design it. It's very open, has skylights, it has huge windows, big classrooms. And in the very center of the school is what we call the atrium. It has like palm trees, and it's like a botanical garden, basically, in the middle of the school, which is really cool. So it's a very unique school. I think probably if you go on the website, you can see some pictures of it. It's really nice. It's a really nice place for kids to be. It's very comfortable. We don't have desks in rows. We have doors to the outside. Kids have access to the outdoors from every classroom. And as long as their teacher knows where they're allowed to go out without adults. There's a lot of freedom for kids. And so that's really nice too, that we're in and out, all the time. We are in Michigan, so the weather's not always perfect, but if they bring their sleds to school, go down the sledding hill. So it's a very comfortable, relaxed atmosphere, which is what we really want. We know that kids need to feel, comfortable at school and safe at school in order to learn anything. And so we really focus on that community building at the beginning of the school year, and that attachment to the teacher too, so that kids can come and feel like this is a safe, comfortable space for me to learn. So it's a very fun atmosphere to work in. Yeah.
Nice. My bad. I should have probably reworded. I meant like your ratio, class size, as
Oh,
far
class
as like,
sizes. Yeah.
Students to teacher type
So it's
ratio.
about 12 to 1.
Okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice. That's always a question
Yeah.
of mine. I always want to know how many of those little ones to that one adult.
Yeah.
That's a great size.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's doable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely doable. Way more doable than 25.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of your class time. Because you are a former classroom teacher. You were in the school system. How was that? What were you teaching?
I was teaching 2nd grade. I came out of college, and that was my first full-time job, was a 2nd grade classroom. I did that for 7 years. I really loved it. I love that age group. I love being with the kids. That was really before I'm old. So that was really before all the standardization started, like the Common Core and things. And so I had a lot of freedom still in the classroom to do projects, and we had curriculum, but there was a lot of freedom that I don't think exists anymore. I think I would find it hard to go back maybe to that situation, but it was a fun few years for sure. Once I quit though, when I started that co-op, my degree is actually in English. And so I taught a lot of high school English classes too, for high school kids, or for homeschooled high school kids, which I found I really love that too. I spent several years at different co-ops. Even when we moved to Michigan, I found co-ops here, and I went and taught high school English. So that's another thing that I actually love to teach as well.
Oh, nice. Yes. Okay. So you were one of those heaven sent angels that come to teach elementary kids, because y'all are angels. That takes
Well,
a
I
lot.
don't do that anymore. I'm not in the classroom anymore. And sometimes I look at our teachers here and think, oh wow, they're doing hard work. Good. They're really good with kids. I'm amazed at what they can do and the things that they plan for our kids. So yeah, they're great. But I don't do that every day anymore, for sure.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you made a big point when speaking on your experience, which was that when you were teaching, not sure what year it was, but it was more freedom in the classroom as far as the teacher
Yeah.
goes. I know when I declared that I wanted to be a teacher, it was before standardized testing myself. But by the time I graduated and,
Yeah.
completed college and all that stuff, standardized testing and all that good stuff. The No Child Left Behind Act was in full effect.
Yes.
Um,
I missed that. So it was good. We don't
yeah.
do any standardized testing here at all.
Okay.
So that's not part of what we do. We don't have to follow, the state standards and the state law, although we do, track kids and make sure they're, progressing, but we don't do standardized testing. So it's very it's the project based, and so at the end of each project the kids do a reflection and the mentor reflects, and it's a lot of authentic feedback all the way through the project and not so much grades, so we don't have to keep like daily grades for kids. One of the things we do here at the campus and for our off-campus kids is to really focus on what we call the 6 C's. I'm sure you've heard of this idea, but content is one, and so we want to make sure kids are getting good content, but also collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and confidence. And so we want to build in experiences for them to improve and progress in all those 6 C's, and to have, especially in confidence, to have the chance and the freedom to fail and to say, oh, that didn't work out well, but it's not tied to some kind of like failing grade at all. It's a chance to reflect and say, well, that didn't work. What could I do differently next time? Or I could have started this way, or I could have spent more time on it, or I could have whatever. Helping kids to think about if something didn't work or they don't feel like they did their best, why is that, and how can we do better next time? And so that confidence piece is really important, and it's not tied to a test score ever.
Nice. Yeah, no, confidence is, I like that. The 6 C's. I had not heard of that,
Okay.
but I think those are all good C's. I do. I
Yeah.
feel like, but confidence definitely goes a long way.
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of ways, people have become afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And you just mentioned like that's important, like just to try an aspect and know that you had the courage and confidence to try. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay that you fail. Just get back up and do some tweaking and
Yeah.
fixing and rebranding and try again.
Yeah, and
So
really, we want our teachers to feel the same way. We're
mhm.
not tied to any high stakes testing, so we do have the freedom to try things and say, okay, that worked well. Let's keep doing that, or how can we build on that? Or, yesterday, this is spring break here, so yesterday we had a teacher meeting all day, and it was a lot of reflection. How do we feel like that's going? Okay, that's not really going so well. Let's make a change. Let's try something new. And it's important, for them to feel like this is a natural part of you know making the best program possible,
Mhm.
and that starts with kids. I can fail, I can reflect, I can think about what would work better. We try not to be punitive here, even in like conflicts and relationships, um having those discussions with the kids, like, okay, if that didn't go well between the two of you, what could you do differently? Or how could we try something new, instead of, well, now you're punished because something didn't go well. I didn't
Mhm.
mention that one interesting thing we do here at the campus is have a all school meeting. And so the whole school, every grade, gets together at least once a week, sometimes more,
Oh
and they can bring
wow.
issues. And so we have an issues book, in that atrium with all the trees. If they notice something's not working well, they can write it down. It could be, someone is leaving their dishes in the kitchen sink, or I can never find the playground balls, or I never get a chance to use, this. It could be anything. And so then they bring it up, they talk about it together. It's very, solution oriented. And so, we everybody can have a voice in the conversation. We try to think of, okay, what could we do then? You guys decide, like, what would be a good solution for this? And then we implement it. And then the next week you come back and say, okay, how is that going? Is that working or not? And if not, let's come back to it again. And so I just think kids having a voice in what's happening, what's going on, it gives them a sense of control and autonomy here, which is what we want. And it helps them, have that more solution-minded mindset instead
Mhm.
of like, I have to get everything perfect the first time or something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I love that y'all do that. Like, think about that type of game changer and
Yeah.
letting the child know that y'all are being seen and heard and
Yeah.
you're valued here.
Hmm.
I love that once a week.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
I
It's
like
really
that.
fun. And
I
even
like
that
that.
the individual classrooms have their own meetings then too, where they can
Okay.
also, bring up things and, you know, sometimes it is like so and so keeps calling me this name or, and so
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
gets a chance to talk about it and it's a good conflict resolution tool that we found.
That's the
That
same thing. That's what I was saying in my
Yeah.
head. I was like,
Yeah.
that's teaching them how to deal with conflict, teaching
Yeah.
them how to, like you said, focus on a solution,
Mhm.
identifying the problem, but focusing on a solution. Like, what can
Right.
we do different?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It works.
dope.
It does work well. It really does.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. I love that. I love that y'all are bringing this to parents and allowing them to have this. But wait, hold on, because you said the next school is where? Because
Portugal.
Portugal.
Yes.
We
Portugal will
need
be our
more here. Like,
well, yes, we're open to the idea of opening more campuses here. But our next one is Portugal. We have a lot of students who live in Portugal. It's a very
really?
popular
Okay.
place for people to go. We have a lot of staff who live there. We have 2 affiliates already there. So actually I'll be in Portugal in a couple weeks to visit the affiliates, but we're really excited about opening a campus there too.
Okay, nice, nice. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know all this when you were at the St. Louis Expo. Like I didn't get to dive into all
Yeah.
that you do, but this is really nice to know that y'all are structured like this and
Yeah.
just helping families and allowing kids to be a voice in their education and
Yeah.
following them as opposed to trying to lead them in another
Right.
direction.
Yes, yes, following them and their interest in being that guide rather than a teacher. Um,
Yeah.
when I was teaching, maybe when you were too, it was a lot of the teacher standing up and like delivering the information to the child. And we really,
Yes.
flip that. And so, I tell parents who are homeschooling, like, you need to be a student of your student. You need to watch them, see what they're interested in, really know where they're at, follow them, bring them things that you think will be interesting to them that will spark something in them. So
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of a flip.
Yeah, observation goes a long way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really does. And I felt like when with my time in the classroom, I like the modeling aspect that we used to have to do, I felt like that was so limiting to the kid, like to well, I had young adults, but to the young people themselves, because it kind of put them at a okay, this is the way you need to do it, as
Right.
opposed to letting them show you how they would do it
Right.
first.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
So
It's giving them a lot of agency, to say, this is how I think I want to do it. We use that full circle learning model to help them plan their courses
mhm.
or their projects and, what kind of resources do you want to use? What question do you want to answer? A lot of times they get into this and they're like, oh, whoa, I made a mistake. Like, this is not where I want to go, or I hate this book that I chose. And so we always say, you're not tied down to anything. You can say, I need to make a change. And that's an amazing thing to recognize. It's that metacognition that we really want kids to think deeply about their learning, and be able to make decisions that are the best for them. And so even in the middle of a project, we'll work with them to change direction or like, okay, let's salvage what you've done so far, add on to it, do something different so that they can learn how they learn. That's really the goal.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like y'all focus on a lot more skills outside of the academics. A lot life skills that they
Mhm.
would need to be great functioning adults.
Yeah.
As opposed to just the math, science, and
Right.
arithmetic and whatever
Yeah,
it
the subject
is.
areas are important, which
Yeah,
is
of
what I
course.
mentioned, but those 6 C's, we actually have built our own evaluation system that takes into account all of those six
Mm,
C's. And so the evaluation, because we do give like report cards with grades and the transcripts, have grades for each course, just like a regular transcript would. But we really want to look at the learning process a lot more holistically than just like, well, there were 10 tests and they got this average. on the test. I mean, that's
Mm.
content, which is a piece of it, but we also want to see, how are they doing in communication, or can they collaborate, or are they developing critical thinking? Because we know that, a student can go through school and get all A's. They could probably get even like a perfect SAT, but that doesn't guarantee success in whatever they do next. And so we really want to set kids up for success. And a lot of the success in the world that we live in now is not necessarily how much content you have in your mind, because we've got content at our fingertips all the time. But it's, what can you do with that content, or do you know where to find it, or how can you express yourself well? And so we want to have a really holistic view of a child's education.
Nice. And you say y'all been around since 1967? Did
Yeah,
that?
long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm like. Oh my.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a
Goodness. So
long
y'all
time.
have definitely grown in many, many ways. I
Mhm.
love that parents are able to have, have this choice. Are you all, I don't know how Michigan is with the empowerment student accounts. Do you all
We
do
don't
that?
have any
No, not
ESAs
yet.
here. No,
Okay.
it's not a big school choice state yet.
Mm,
There are some like unusual and innovative models popping up. We're pretty close to Detroit, so we know of several innovative places there, but it's we don't have any ESAs at all.
okay.
Homeschooling freedoms are very actually just a little interesting tidbit. Pat Montgomery, who started Clonlara, when she started with a campus, so just some kids here, in Ann Arbor learning together. But of course, that word started to spread, and people started to come to the campus and say, well, I can't come here every day because I live too far away. But can you teach
Mm,
me how to do it? And that's how the off-campus program was really started. That was in the 60s, 70s, and she started to run into some legal trouble. And so she
mm.
actually, with a couple of families, filed a lawsuit, and it went to the Supreme Court. And so
Oh,
Clonlara
wow.
is the reason that homeschooling families in Michigan have like basically all the freedom. They don't have to report anything to the state right now. So it's because of Pat and her, uh,
Okay. Thank
her
you,
value of
Pat.
like, choice for families and letting families do what's best for them. But families cannot use their ESA funds in Michigan. However, we are approved vendors on lots of other states because you can live
Mhm.
anywhere and enroll in Clonlara. So, we're on Arizona, Florida, New Hampshire, West
Mhm.
Virginia. We're approved vendors on all of those, and people can use Class Wallet to pay tuition if they live in those states.
Nice. That is good to know. Good to
Yeah.
know. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at y'all. Pat out here paving the way for homeschoolers. You homeschooling 5 kids. Y'all
Yes.
playing and making it seem like it wasn't even a big deal. Like, yeah, that is just
Yeah.
monumental things. Y'all are doing great things. I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's fun. And thanks for having me talk about it. It's so different, I feel like, and unique that it's hard to explain, especially if you meet someone quickly. It's like, how can I quickly explain what we do? Because it's so different, and it's so you know, personalized, and it depends on, if you're homeschooling or if you're at the campus. We just have so many ways that we work with families, that it's difficult to explain sometimes. We also have online courses that people can enroll in if they want to, as like kind of an add-on if there's a topic they want to
Mm,
study that way. So we do have that. We just have a lot of different ways for kids to connect and to really build an education that's meaningful to them and that really helps them do whatever they want to do. And our graduates, our off-campus graduates, really do everything from, you know, we have kids who go to Ivy League schools every year. We have kids who go to military, who start businesses, who, do all sorts of things. Graduation's coming up. I'll mention this really quickly, that we have several hundred kids who graduate every year. Of course, they're spread out all around the world, but we do have an in-person graduation in Paris on June 1st for kids who live in Europe in that area. And then our June 8th is our graduation here in Ann Arbor. So we do have two also in-person graduation events for kids, which is really fun for them to come together and, celebrate each other and, meet their
yes.
classmates, as well as an online graduation, that everybody can also participate in. So
I will opt for the Paris ones.
I know. Yes.
Let's go to that one.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that is so
It's
nice. I love that y'all are international. I love that y'all are all over and connecting the learners all over. So that is really
yeah.
awesome. Like,
Yeah. That's a very fun piece
so
of it.
impressive.
Yeah. My daughter, when during COVID, she was in fifth grade, and she was in a club, an online club during that year that was called Culture Club. And every week, the kids took turns doing a little presentation about wherever they lived in the world. And so, she did one about Ann Arbor, and everybody was like, "Oh, do you know where the campus is?" She's like, "Yes, I go there all the time." No big deal. But then she got to hear about,
Oh,
everybody else and where they lived. At that time, actually, that month, the Ukraine war was starting, and
mm,
one of her classmates was in Romania, and this was really affecting her. And so she got to hear and connect with this girl who was, really
wow.
affected by something that we were talking about in the news. So it's really meaningful for her to be connected with, those people. And then kids, they share ways to, like, emails and things, and they stay in touch. And sometimes our kids also create their own clubs. And so they might have an interest, and they get a bunch of friends they know around the world, and they work on something together and invite more kids to come. And so we have a lot of clubs that are student run too, that kids have just said, "Oh, I really want to do this with some people." And they make it happen. And it's really fun I think, for kids to connect with, their classmates around the world.
Of course. So your daughter attended also.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I had
nice.
two kids enrolled. Yeah. When we moved to Michigan, my oldest was a junior, and we didn't hear about it in time. So she just
No.
graduated from homeschool. But yeah, my younger two, were able to catch Clonlara. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And your oldest, did she go on to go to college, or what did she do?
Yeah. So all of my kids homeschooled and then went to school at different times. So my oldest went to public school in 10th grade. She homeschooled till then. Went
Hmm.
to college, 4-year college, and lives in Florida right now. And then my second graduated from homeschool. She went to community college, then to a 4-year college. My son, my third one, he went to school in 6th grade. He was very sports minded. That's what he wanted. And so we put him in school so that he could, play all the team sports and things like that. And he actually is an athlete in college now. So, you could kind of see where he was going. He's a senior at Michigan State. He runs track
Oh,
and cross
nice.
country.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And then my fourth graduated last year, and she's at a community college in Ann Arbor. So I just have one left in school. But yeah, you wonder, sometimes when you're homeschooling, little kids, and you're the mom, and you're like, what's gonna happen to these kids? Is this a total mistake? And it's been totally fine. They go do whatever it is that they need to do with their lives, which is nice to see.
Yes, indeed. I know that's always the parents like
Yeah.
thing. I've had a homeschool mom call and be like, I just don't want to screw up my kid. And it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're like mistakes will happen, but
Oh yeah.
y'all will overcome it. I promise you will.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah. It can be scary for sure. But also, I guess what we always did was think, we'll do what's best for these kids this year. And it's not like we're making a commitment forever. We'll reevaluate next year. And sometimes,
Yes.
for whatever reason, it was like, this kid needs to find a different place,
Mhm.
besides my living
Not
room.
here. Not
Yes.
here.
And sometimes, you're like, this kid would not do well in school, so they need to stay home, and so every kid is different. Every year is different. Situations change. So keeping it really, having an open hand about it, I think is good.
Very important. Very important. Nothing set in stone. That's why I
Right.
feel like a lot of parents have to understand and realize. But I think in the same sense, they feel like a pressure to make sure they stay at a certain grade level. So in the event that they have to re-enter, or that is something that's next for them, that they're not
Yeah.
too far behind. So
Right.
I get
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But thank you, April. Where can we
Okay.
find Clonlara at?
So our website is just clonlara.org. We also have Facebook and Instagram. accounts. We also have just a Facebook account that's just for our campus. So if you're interested in seeing what the kids on our campus are doing, which is really fun, I think it's Clonlara School Ann Arbor campus is the Facebook page for that. But you can find us on our website, and if you want to contact, there's lots of contact information there. But yeah.
Nice. And as a homeschool, I can't let you go yet, April.
Okay.
As a homeschool vet, I need you to give 3 pieces of just like words of wisdoms that you would share with new homeschool families. 3 things that you feel they should take with them.
Okay. I would say read lots of books. We've forgotten most of the worksheets we've done, but those books, they're still on our shelf, and they become a special, part of your memories. I would also say be flexible. You might have a schedule that you really want to get through every day, but go do the trip and go see the thing. Go if they bring something up, go do it. You won't regret those experiences. And then I would just say, really, like I said before, be a student of your student, and really, really identify, what makes this kid tick, what sparks joy in this kid, and how can I incorporate that into what we're doing at home.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Those are 3 good ones. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well,
Families, make sure you check out
Clonlara School. Yes.
Clonlara. I'm gonna get it right eventually.
It's an Irish
Clonlara.
word. Yeah, it's
Okay.
Irish. Yeah.
Yes, check it out. You do not have to take this journey alone. Remember that there is support and resources everywhere. So be sure to check them out and see if it's a fit for you. They have virtual options. You do not have to be based in Michigan to take advantage of what they got going on. You could be anywhere in the world, and we do have worldwide listeners. So tap into them. Definitely. And just remember to homeschool your kids.
Okay, thank you.